Hey everybody, this is Dan. Yeah, here in the land, not necessarily down by the river. I'm down by the sea. But I thought I'd give you some thoughts. This is sort of the before. I'm here with my wife in Israel. We're going to attend a conference in a couple days. The Jewish or Jerusalem Network Syndicate. Many speakers that I admire, look up to, and trust. But since we've gotten here, obviously the memorandum or the MOU, I should say, has been signed and by Trump. And I thought I'd give you some of my thoughts and the vibe here in Israel concerning that. First of all, let's talk about why he did it, and then we'll talk about its impact. First of all, I think it's purely 100% an economic decision that Trump made. I think he buckled under the pressure and basically saw global depression coming and decided, hey, I got to cut my losses and do whatever needs to be done. We've got to get this straight, reopened, etc., etc. And that's exactly what he's done. Tough talk, but I think he definitely buckled. Now, because of that, I think you're going to find the beginning of the Make America Great movement beginning to have some cracks. And what I mean about that is that I think there's going to be many that feel like we turned our back on Israel, we shouldn't be doing this, etc., etc. And so I think there'll be sort of a division in the mega movement, which then I think opens the door at least to see what the Democratic Party will do. Obviously, it's spun out of control, but I think this will allow them to, in a sense, renew efforts to gain positions, whether it's in the Congress or Senate or whatever the case may be, getting ready for obviously the midterm elections and ultimately opening the door to the potential presidential elections in a few years. So, and again, I think that that's where things are at. So you have this divide, and it's no big surprise, it's always going to be about Israel that the divide occurs. And so the MOU then is basically attempting to slow things down, in my opinion, sort of like a governor. But I do think that things are on a downhill spiral, picking up speed, and I don't think that's even possible. I think when we look at the triad of Turkey and Russia and Iran, it's not hard to see, to kind of focus the biblical lenses on Ezekiel 38, 39 and say, whoa, this is happening in our day. I think it truly is. And so I don't think this MOU is going to do anything to slow that down. If nothing else, as I mentioned, full steam ahead. And the party that will take the hardest hit, of course, is Israel. And so Israel is, we know the Bible, we might not like what it has to say, but we know that in the end of days, Israel will have to stand alone. And we're seeing the beginning of that, at least I believe right now. I think that this whole thing will create in America the decision to kind of pull away, become more of an isolationist, focus in on what our needs and wants are, especially in relating to the economy. So as we kind of back away from Israel more and more, they will need to stand on their own. What about the church? So now the church has the option or the decision to make. I think there are three different things that can transpire. Number one, I think the church can continue to take the steps, what we call of replacement theology, believing that God is finished with Israel. There's no need for the church to stand stand or to do anything, because all the promises that were given to Israel is now inherited by the church. That's one position. The second position, I think, has to do what I call as a silent missionary position, and it's not as dangerous, but it is dangerous. And I think this position is to say, because of the abuses of the church over the centuries, the millennia, let's just let God deal with Israel the way he wants to deal with Israel. Let's just make the decision that we'll support and stand, but let's not talk about the elephant in the room. Let's not bring Jesus into the discussion. This will have tinges of what I refer to as a dual covenant, that God will deal with Israel differently than anything else. And I don't think that's what the Bible teaches. I understand the position of just wanting to love Israel and then let God speak, but I think the third position is the most difficult one, but it doesn't ignore the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is Jesus, the Messiah. And somehow the church needs to find a way to stand firm in supporting Israel, and then as the Spirit leads, talk about the Messiah, talk about Jesus. Not being a condition of whether we support Israel or not, but we cannot just ignore the gospel message. Again, we have to trust God's leadership in this and the leading of the Spirit of God. So churches today, they have the option. Many will want to ignore the subject. Too divisive, let's focus on other things. And they will want to ignore Israel. But let me tell you, by taking that stance, you've thrown your lot in with those that are anti-Israel. There's no doubt about that. If you will not stand in support, it's either you're for me or you're against me. There's no middle ground here. And by not supporting Israel, you're against Israel. And then for Israel, there'll be a cost. And we shouldn't be surprised, because the Bible always talks about the cost. And I don't, it'll be different for different people, different areas or whatever, but there will be a cost involved in standing with Israel. So as I mentioned, this is sort of the before. We're heading to Jerusalem tomorrow. The conference, the Jewish or the Jerusalem News Syndicate Conference. The speakers are absolutely amazing. And I look forward to, in a sense, drinking from the fire hydrant and taking it all in. And then I'll do an after. After all of this, we'll be heading back up to one of our favorite places in the Galilee, in Magdala. And while I'm at Magdala, I'll find a nice spot on the Sea of Galilee, and I'll give you the after. So this is Dan, not down by the river, but down by the Mediterranean Sea, and straight from my heart. God bless you, and shalom.